We're on to another best of 3. Here starting off on Hardwire, top right hand corner from Team Shopify Rebellion is the red Zerg, Scarlett. Their opponent in the blue, hailing from Brazil, it's Team Liquid, KELAZHUR. After a little bit of a hiatus, focusing a little bit on AoE4, Kela is back here on SC2, and honestly showing quite some good performances. Hopefully we will see another great series in these qualifiers here between these two amazing players. Again, two players with a history, same server. Well, not really same server, but yeah, you know what I mean. But honestly, two players that have been facing each other quite a lot. Probably gonna meet each other in just random queue a lot as well. Not really sure what to expect, but of course we've seen Scarlett being very proficient at the late game Zerg, trying to get to those late game scenarios as much as possible. And honestly, very few players managed to actually fight her. Like when he gets to the uber late game, she gets a very strong economy going, she gets a good quick spread, and she starts to become slowly basically untouchable. So I would love to see KELAZHUR trying to actually dent her defenses a little bit earlier on, trying to soften her resilience and be able to deal a finishing blow later on. We see this poor little drone not managing to drop down a third actually. That actually hurts quite a bit. Yeah, Scarlett was prepared for this. So she's gonna take this one easily abusable by drops. So Scarlett will need to be careful about that. She's gonna go for the 6 lanes and to chase down the Reaper, almost managing to get a kill. Oh, the Queen is out. Gonna grit down a crit tumor and then shoo away the Reaper. At least for the time being. Again, as I was saying, ooh, double command center. It's interesting, very early on as well. I'm expecting 2 Rex with this, not expecting any starport super soon. At least that's what I want to see. Expectancy is it's a different thing. We see a starport. I would have loved to see some free Rex aggression. Kela will play it safe. Will play it greedily, yes. But it's one way to answer a player super good at late game. It's being greedy yourself. And sneaking out. Well, not really sneaking, like well, kind of, I guess. Some greedy macro yourself, getting a lot of workers, getting a strong economy, getting a lot of production really quick before your opponent can actually establish a good economy of his own while keeping up with army. Scarlett doesn't really play really aggressively in the early stages. And this triangular pattern will also make it harder for her to defend even against a small amount of units. Alien's actually getting a little bit of stuff done over here. Ooh. They need to decrease 4 drones. That's much more than 2 aliens and a Reaper should have done. Wow, that is crazy damage out of Kela. Yeah, the 2 aliens and a Reaper should never get that amount of damage. KELAZHUR being a little bit too greedy over here, sending 2 more aliens in. They will be chased out by just a couple links. Here comes another Hellion. In the end, all of these links will be burned to crisp it looks. And Kela will save all of his aliens, only 1 will fall. In the end, it's not that big of a deal. It feels like... Oh, 2 more Hellions actually. 18 more Rex being dropped down. This is actually surprising. Very standard lair timing alongside the Baneley Nest from Scarlett. Instead, trying to get those defensive units she will desperately need once KELAZHUR decides to play a little bit more aggressive himself. The Vikings sniping down overlords left and right. Very standard opener out of KELAZHUR, but I do love the switch it up from the other Terran players who usually don't hit before having 4 or even 6 aliens, sometimes even 8. And just going ham with the 2 aliens and finding Scarlett with her pants down. Super punishing harassment. Of course, it doesn't hurt that bad. But losing 4 drones that early in the game is not very good. And those drones are also really important. As you can see, Scarlett doesn't really have a lot of links for defense. She's gonna lose even more, which means less Banelings and less Zerglings to defend against the later on timing attack. Since this is Larva, Larva is a resource in this matchup. Is honestly, like, for a large part of the game, is probably the most important resource for a Zerg player. Like, from the 4-minute mark to like the 9-minute mark, Larva is honestly really important. And you need to make very good choices in how you spend it. Having to spend a lot of Larva on links instead of drones, it's not something you want. You can see it here, 6 minutes and a half. And Scarlett is still on 67 workers, 66 of course, with the 4th base almost completed. Like, these 12 drones are going to mean that Scarlett is not gonna have a powerful army for quite a while. This is a very delicate moment. This is when KELAZHUR can really bring a lot of punishment onto Scarlett. And these 2 medivacs are gonna try and do exactly that. Of course, there's still a lot of queens for defense. So it's not like Scarlett is completely defenseless after losing 4 drones and a couple links. But this kind of stuff does add up. It can be the case here. It can actually be completely meaningless. But it can matter sometimes. Over here, the queens are in a very good position, so are the Banelings. It looks like KELAZHUR will be content with killing a couple of crit teamers left and right and maybe trying dealing with a queen or 2. The transfuses are pretty much on point. The 2 medivacs will go flying away. The 6 aliens, still actually 5 aliens, still looking for a way in with Vikings sniping down even more overlords. It's gonna be the second one, or maybe not. It will be saved by 1 single queen. But it really looks like, oh my god, 10 overlords in production by Scarlett. It really looks like KELAZHUR is looking forward to deal some substantial damage, setting up a strong timing a little bit later than I was expecting this. But it can be powerful if microed correctly. It is a link spreading a little bit too forward, it looks, but they're gonna focus down a queen that cannot really do too much. A couple Banelings will take a tank shot before they can actually move out of danger. The Hellbats are there for tanking a lot of damage. The rest of the units of KELA are gonna be leapfrogging forward, infestation pinning coming as well as a lot of Hydras all at once. This might be a very bad moment for KELA to actually start doing something. Gonna kill 2 queens, almost get a 3rd one. But overall, Scarlett is just setting up a huge surround. Another queen falling down. It's a lot of queens being killed. But it really looks like the whole army of KELA will be dealt in the matter of seconds. As you can see, the tank count being completely reset. And KELA on the right side only managing to kill down a couple crit tumors for his troubles. He's gonna get an overload, yes, but Scarlett safely getting a huge amount of Hydras. Whoa. Little bit of a oopsie over there for KELA. Saving some of his stuff on the left side, but losing all of it on the right side. And Scarlett pretty clean defense. Even after the early losses, almost a perfect defense. She lost quite too many queens in the end. Like, losing 4 queens does hurt a little. How many does she have yet? She still has 6. Her crit spread is looking kind of fine. It's not like she... Well, actually, it's looking very fine. It's not like she needs a lot of transfuses right now, more than her bases. Like, she can support this. She gonna need a couple more queens, but she can survive with just the 6 for the time being. She's getting a lot of links, getting a very good upgrades. And the hive is almost completed. KELA is pretty much bound to find some damage earlier on. Because Scarlett will slowly bleed him to death if it doesn't. Oh, this is a very good surround with the lanes. The Widowmine shot will not be that great. This one single tank cannot deal with these many Hydras. In the end, the army of KELAZHUR will be stranded in a little bit of a awkward spot. Kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But will be saved almost in full. Only the tanks will be left to die. But Scarlett again. Dropping down Lurker then. Getting some Vipers. Getting her key upgrades. +2/+2 and Adrenaline Glands. Starting to look tougher and tougher by the second for KELAZHUR. The Ghosts, of course, are going to be a huge addition, especially against Lurkers. But it's going to be pretty much a worth positioning. And it's something that Scarlett loves in this matchup. This base is a little bit exposed. Scarlett is trying to set up a huge blow to the army of KELAZHUR though, trying to kill as much stuff as possible. These tanks still standing are going to deal a standing amount of damage to the Hydras, but in the end, it looks like the army control of KELAZHUR will not be good enough against these many Hydras attacking on two different sides. KELAZHUR losing a huge amount of his own army just before the Lurker then drops down and gets those key upgrades. 7 Lurkers incoming. Scarlett almost maxed out, and she's probably going to start to get that Bespin gas bank alongside the mineral bank that she has to be able to trade down supply very aggressively. She's not really even carrying off these lanes right now. There's a little bit of a run by going on over here, but in the end, this Medivac kind of looks doomed. It isn't doomed, but yeah. It will fly away into safety. Just barely. That's not a lot of lanes over here. I do feel like Scarlett didn't save enough of her own army. Oh wait, never mind. 7 Lurkers and a bunch of Banelings coming in clutch. These are Medivacs that need to fly away. A little bit of a comfy spot over here for the Marines. Did the Medivac actually die? Because that would be absolutely hilarious. I think it did. And this one single queen will slowly but steadily kill all of these Marines. Unless KELAZHUR wants to spend all of his energy to drop down scan after scan. Lurkers are getting forward. There's a huge wall over here. Getting 2 Ghost Knights onto them both. But the Viper Abducts are absolutely insane. The Hydras doing as much damage as possible. Here comes also the Blinding Cloud. And even another Blinding Cloud was about to be dropped before the Viper was actually sniped down. Actually, 2 of the Vipers were sniped down. All of the Lurkers have been killed, but this was a huge blow being dealt to KELAZHUR. Over here, the base will be destroyed and sacked by Scarlett. But KELAZHUR lost so many key units that Scarlett can replace, and honestly, KELAZHUR really cannot. Alongside 18 SCVs, yeah, mules are still... Oh! Yeah, that was betrayal. 2 Nidus networks incoming. Scarlett making their army impossible to control, basically. Even harder and harder. But it's gonna be super interesting to actually see what she makes out of these Nidus networks. Hardwire is a long map, but it's not a very wide map. It's not like you can just move your army from left to right and expect your opponent to not be ready. Especially with this much creep, she doesn't even really need the Nidus network. I'm more curious about cancelling the defender's advantage than honestly trying to outmaneuver your opponent by army positioning. Or even just defend your bases a little bit easier. That is also another very good point. Going back to something similar to Brood War. The Nidus worm being spread between the bases, Nidus network back in time. Just networks, there were no worms. Being spread in between bases to establish a defensive position. But it's instead 2 Nidus worm in the main. Production is the focus, and Lurkers are very good at killing production super fast. If they get on top of it, one of the 2 Nidus Worm will always complete. Meanwhile, the army of Scarlett clashing over here. The planetary is under attack. There's not much in the way of killing it, but 22 SCVs are gonna fall, and so many Lurkers are over here to be absolutely obnoxious. The Ghost Academy is under real threat. The scans get used, but these tanks are a little bit too far away and the lurkers are still incredibly tanky. More and more lurkers being sent into the Nidus, leapfrogging forward. In the end, 3 scans are gonna be used and all of the lurkers are gonna be cleared one after the other. Kela losing 27 SCVs. A lot of pretty damn important structures. And pretty much half of his army. While Scarlett is just constantly streaming units through. Just look at the productions. Have 5 SCVs against a huge stream of Lings and Hydras. This planetary is definitely not going down. It really looks like Scarlett is just basically suiciding off her army into this planetary. And you know what? That might have been just what KELAZHUR needed. He's gonna bite back. He's gonna kill a couple of crit tumors. He's probably gonna even kill an archery. I don't see Scarlett having enough army right now to defend against this. Yeah, she has 3 Vipers, which are gonna be tough to deal with, but she doesn't really want to lose those 2 Knights. And that exact thing just happened immediately as I said that. The archery is definitely going down, or maybe not. Finlings come rolling through, the blinding clouds are good enough, and the abducts are even better. In the end, Scarlett, what a crazy good engagement with just the Vipers. Stopping down those Knights before they can happen, saving both of her Vipers, and actually dealing quite some damage to the main army of Kela, who's now with a lot of gas, but no minerals. He's always an awkward spot for the Terran player. That actually happens a little bit too often in this matchup. While Scarlett is gonna start building up her own bank in gas, she's pretty much always gonna have a way to spend those Vespene Geysers banks. And minerals will come sooner rather than later, especially with this base being resaturated slowly but steadily. Not a very healthy base, but Scarlett is paying close attention to it. And she's gonna try to defend it as much as possible, it feels. Taking another base, yeah. I was about to say, taking another base is definitely another very good choice for Scarlett. She doesn't have a lot to be scared about. The army of Kela is not super mobile right now. It's not really an army you can separate in 2 different platoons. So Kela is gonna concentrate his full might on this right side, probably looking forward to take one of those 2 bases himself. There's a stranded lurker over here for some reason. It looks cute. They're in the middle of nowhere. Scarlett is gonna move her army on the left side, and KELAZHUR is gonna move his army immediately on the right side, at least a part of it. But of course, over here, Scarlett can deal a crazy amount of damage. That tank was killed while being abducted. That's never a good thing, and these adrenaline glands links are just going at it, aren't they? More and more abducts ongoing. The EMP and the scans are super good. All of the Vipers are gonna be absolutely annihilated. It's just basically the ghost left standing. And over here, yes, KELAZHUR did snipe this base, but how many SCVs is he willing to lose for that? Because 13 and counting, with a Nidus Worm in his main, is looking like it's going to be a little bit too much. This orbital command is also going down shortly. Another Nidus Worm is going up over here in the main. Another Viper is incoming. The tanks are doing their best, but the Ghost Academy goes down. KELAZHUR, death by 1,000 cuts. I was saying it before. Scarlett building up her bank as I was saying. KELAZHUR, still not a lot of minerals, and still not finding a way to spend these gas. He's getting a lot of ghosts, but even killing these many lurkers, Scarlett still has so much stuff. She still has so many bases, she still has so many key units, and energy on those Vipers is starting to add up. It's not looking good for Kela. Oh, this base over here super exposed. KELAZHUR will be forced to drop everything out of it. This planetary is incredibly important. If KELAZHUR loses this planetary, it's probably going to be game. Snipes going even on top of Banelings for this. Here comes the Vipers a little bit too forward. No EMP gets used on top of them, but the planetary indeed goes down. And that's devastating damage to KELAZHUR, losing one of his most important bases. As you can see, his minerals income absolutely plummeting. And now this full platoon of army on the left side is gonna be... It's gonna bite back, it's gonna kill an archery, but... Easy enough at this stage. It doesn't really look like it. An Overseer and a Lurker What a powerful combination of units over here on the low ground. Finally, a scan gets used to kill this duo. But Scarlett is ready to strike on the left side. And she's fairly uncontested over here, getting on top of the rally point of KELAZHUR while sending another worm in the main of the blue Terran, being pulled apart in different locations. This time, he's gonna be prepared. He's gonna have units back home to deal with them. +3 missile attack incoming for Scarlett as she's approaching victory by the second. 6k gas in the bank, and she still has minerals to spend it with. The tanks are going down one after the other. The Banelings are rolling through the middle. These ghost stays are numbered. They might have won the battle, but the war is so far from being won. The Zergs are numberless, and Scarlett is trying to show this to KELAZHUR in the most hurtful way possible. Still 1k minerals, still 6k gas, and still retaking the space once more. Can she defend this on the right? Because if she can, oh boy, do I think it's game over. It's not like Scarlett has a super powerful army, but she has like 60 more workers. She has an insane bank. She can lose this yet another battle. The Nidus Swarm in the main goes off. Oh boy, that is devastating. The production is all of a sudden under attack over here. She's also winning the battle in the middle. The blinding clouds, the parasitic bombs, the Baneling connections. GG gets gold. Scarlett takes game number 1. And we're off to the second set. Here, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad. On Team Liquid is sleeping a little in the first game. Let's see if he can make up for it. It's KELAZHUR. His opponent in the red from Team Shopify Rebellion. She has 2 shots and making it into the next stage. It's Scarlett. She needs 1 into match point for the Canadian Zerg. And I do feel like if KELAZHUR learned something, it definitely is play aggressive. More aggressive than he did, honestly. Scarlett was, as I was saying just in the previous game, if you give her too much space, if you don't deal outstanding amounts of damage, she just starts to look untouchable. Love to see KELAZHUR going for some cheeky early game push. Even cheesing it out, it doesn't really look like Scarlett is checking for proxies whatsoever, actually. So if he manages to get a win in this game, maybe try and go for a proxy in the game after? That sounds like a solid choice, especially on the right map. Scarlett is completely disregarding proxies, not really even looking for them. It's not like Berlingrad has a lot of solid locations, it has a couple. Just a couple. It's a very easily scoutable map for proxies. But Scarlett is not bothering. Again, maybe it's just because she's feeling extra confident against those kind of builds. So that's definitely a possibility. Scarlett has a history of being very good at defending against any type of cheese, really. Very curious to see how will Kela actually try and put up the aggression I was talking about. Scarlett dropping down her third archery. The usual clash opener. Reaper trying to get some scouting information. The Berlings already in position. The usual dance between Reaper and Lynx will begin. Of course, to no avail for anyone. Just a little bit of a mind time over there. Maybe keeping the Reaper alive for further scouting, or maybe even trying getting the Crypt Tumor, which is a very bold choice. Oh, Scarlett trying to use the grenade to propel her Queen forward and get a heal on the Reaper. Won't happen. We'd love to see that the early aggression with the aliens that KELAZHUR has been showing in the previous game. Amazing double alien performance, killing 4 drones with just 2 aliens and a Reaper. That's absolutely outstanding. We'd love to see some of that again. But it's highly unlikely that Scarlett will sleep with her defense again that badly. Reaper going into the main to gain a little bit more scouting information, confirm this is nothing weird. And, he will indeed confirm it. Scarlett, again, Scarlett just loves attacking her own Crypt Tumors, doesn't she? The Reaper Cliff over here will keep this little Reaper alive, and he's going to be joined shortly by the two aliens. Again, the Viking is up in the skies to try and stop this overload from getting too much information. One single link will be let in. No, it won't. Scarlett will not get information. Well, not too much information with this. And actually, two aliens are going to be sent back home to deal with this. It's a little bit too much. But whatever. Scarlett again, with this overload over here, knows exactly what's moving in and out of KELAZHUR base. Gonna kill a couple crit tumors, which is definitely really good against Scarlett in the early game. Especially if you want to set up something aggressive, which, again, I cannot stress these more. I do really feel like KELAZHUR needs to. Because late game Scarlett is just a whole different beast. Rex being dropped down. What do we have here? The third command center already completed. The lair, honestly, a little bit of a later timing than usual. Where's the Baneliness? You want to drop down the Baneliness basically around now. Because like at this point, it's when if you drop it exactly at this point, they will finish together. And you can start Centrifugal Hooks as soon as your lair finishes, maximum uptime. But Scarlett doesn't care about Banelings this game, or did she simply forgot? There is a massive thing to forget about. Baneliness is it's a good structure, guys. And honestly, there's no... Oh, yeah, here they come. A little bit of a later stage, double Evo Chamber to make up for it, maybe. But yeah, these are gonna be slow Banelings for quite a while. The layer is about to finish, and Centrifugal Hooks is not gonna be started for quite a while. Like almost 30 seconds. That's kind of a lot, honestly. The aliens are getting in this mirror line. No, they are not. The Reaper, though, will avoid any big surrounds incoming from these Zerglings. More aliens are gonna join the party. These queens are walking into the Hellions very bravely. And the Hellions do not really have a way at striking elsewhere, honestly. Yeah, dropping down the armory as well. What does he have back home? Is not... Oh, Widowmines. Okay, Widowmines I do like much more than the tanks in these kind of pushes. Because they're sending out the double Medivacs. 60 Marines ready to strike. The defenses of Scarlett a little bit left on the left side. Centrifugal Hook starts at an insane late timing. You never want this to happen. Yeah, this is looking a little bit of a yikes on the side of Scarlett. I don't know if she simply forgot about the Baneling Nest, but yeah, she's gonna have a Hydra Den done before the Centrifugal Hooks upgrade is even finished. Ooh, Kela steaming forward, killing two queens. Here comes the rest of the army of Scarlett. Yeah, focusing down these Banelings. Honestly, kind of a joke. Medivacs will fly away to fight another day. Did one of the Medivacs actually die? Oh, yes it did. That's a blunder on the side of Kela, honestly. Wasn't expecting it. That was definitely pretty bad. Infestation PT incoming for Scarlett. But KELAZHUR is sending quite a powerful push in. What does Scarlett have for defense? It's a lot of Banelings. It's all down to control. These queens are in a very awkward spot. The Medivacs are gonna be caught out in the open, but yeah, they're losing these 4 queens, so it's like a truck. Now these Marines on the high ground will deal very easily with a lot of the army being sent after and kill 7 drones for their efforts. And now they're gonna move forward a little bit more. The Hellbats tank up a lot of damage. Can the Marines do it? Apparently not. KELAZHUR leaves to fight another day. 2 more medivacs being sent in. Scarlett has recovered from her major early game blunders, but she took a little bit of damage. Not enough, but still a little bit. KELAZHUR playing it like a Beyond game. Reckless, relentless aggression. 2 medivacs on the left, 2 medivacs on the right. Steaming on this Astrea, getting yet another cancel. Very well played by the blue Terran. Finds a full platoon of Banelings over here on the right side. Oh, very good Widowmine connection. And you can see there's not a lot of creep over here. Another Widowmine. Will it hit? Oh. Mother of Widowmine shots. GG got scored. What a good timing. And the equalizer goes to KELAZHUR.